All right. So, good morning, everybody. Whew, feet are getting chilly. Um, so have a couple of blocks and a strap nearby because we're going to do a little bit more glute work today. But for starters, let's just sit in any way that feels really nice to you, whether it's cross-legged or legs straight or sitting up on a blanket or a block or a pillow so that you can sit for a moment and just come into your center. Just start to snuggle down into your mat, right? It's just like snuggling those sit bones down, starting to feel the alignment of our whole spine. We talk about that alignment so often that we feel just this almost automatic descending tailbone, followed by the soft curve of the lower back, the upper back neutral to slightly outwardly caved, and then the cervical spine all the way up to the base of the skull, and then the crown of the head reaching out from there. And often I will think of a like a rod, right, coming from above the crown of the head through the center of the head, through the palate that's at the back of the throat, down through the diaphragm, another palate, right, and then down through the perineum and the base of the pelvic floor. And I feel this not as a like a rod, like we're so stiff, but as a center line to base the whole body around because we're not two dimensional. And as we think of alignment through the back of the body, we really want to think of it all the way around our bodies. And so tap in there, maybe close your eyes and see this maybe beautiful light that streams from above the crown of the head to below the perineum, below the sit bones. And then maybe just very softly circle the ribs around this light, around this rod. And notice, right, that the center stays the center as if, the earth were rotating around the sun, this similar line of rotating around the center line of our bodies. And then go the other way. It's really soft. We're just kind of moving through the torso really gently here, starting to tap into our breath. And then start to make that circle bigger. So start to bring in the hips. And again, mindful of your particular body and what feels good to you. Some of you are going to keep that circle pretty small. Some of you are going to be able to bring it wide and deep, depending on where your hips are, still being thoughtful of the spinal alignment, even as we dive forward and reach back. And go the other way, circle the other way. That's it. Good. One more nice circle here. And bring it back to center. And then just circle shoulders one at a time. Bring one up and back, and then the other one up and back. That's it. Good. Couple more right here. Good. And inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale your hands to your heart. Interlace the hands, press them up. Press them up. There you go. And stretch over to your right. Circle forward all the way over to the left and come on up. Good. Going the other way, circling and forward and up and pause here. Now, if that bothers your wrists, right, that extension bothers the wrist, just soften the hands. Maybe you take them out, maybe you interlace this way, right? So for now, palms are face up if that is okay. Go to the right, circle down, Don't forget the breath. Reach up, circle to the left. Breathe. And up one more, both directions. Stretching out this body, finding the breath. That's it. Take it all the way up. Release those hands, stretch them up, and just circle your fingers. Just start to circle fingers, wrists, all the way down, all the way down. Circle, circle, circle. And shake them out. Good. And then draw the shoulders back, right? We take these shoulders to the side body and the back. Think of the back of the shoulders being part of the back body. That'll help us to not round. And take right ear to right shoulder. So I've had a couple of requests as well for some stretching through the neck and stuff. We're going to go there deeper on Sunday. So just stretch for now, easy. I never pull on my head. I never use my hand as a pressure point to pull. So just let gravity take that a little bit. And then we did this on Sunday, last Sunday, and I think it's really helpful. So your right ear stays to your right shoulder, and then just take the left arm up and stretch over to the side. Inhale it up. Keep your right ear to your right shoulder. Stretch and up. Take it over and up. Good. Take that ear to shoulder one more time. Take it up. Take it over. Stretch and up. And then tuck your head to your chest. Go to the other side. Left ear, left shoulder. Just pause here. Maybe the right fingertips come to the floor. Stretch. Maybe you feel if you move your chin a little bit, it'll change the stretch. Good. Everybody breathe. Good. And same thing here. Take the right arm up, stretch over to the left. And then when you release that arm, keep the ear toward the left. Good. Inhale, take it up. Stretch it out and release. Good. One more here. Reach. Take it over. Oh, yeah. And hold that stretch. And then tuck your chin. Stretch out the back of the neck and take the head up to neutral and roll the shoulders again. I've mentioned several times in the past, there's a teacher who advocates for maybe a little less of this kind of tension related stretching and maybe a little bit more of tension releasing, softening of these upper trapezius, which so affect the neck. So just take your left hand, your left arm, and let it drape over your head and feel your whole left side kind of soften a little bit. No tension in the neck or head. Notice if you're tight in the jaw, just release that. Find the breath again. And then take your right hand back out to the side of your mat and stretch the left side, but keep the arm where it is. Keep the head where it is. You may not go this deep. Just stretch whole side body. Breathe, keeping that left side shoulder, left side head really soft. That's it. And take it back up. And release that side. Same thing, other side. Just drape your right arm over your head. So there's even a little bit of weight there, right? And not that you're pushing down, but maybe you lift the crown of the head up into the arm. And say that on the other side. And then your left hand to the mat, stretch over and breathe. And notice, right, this is kind of an interesting thing to do because it also keeps your head, neck in alignment, where if we release, we might take the head out of alignment. So the hand is just trying to keep that, or the arm is keeping that head in space. Breathe. Notice big stretch side body. And take it up and release. And then just simply turn your head to the right, center, left. Oh, yeah. And one more, right, center, left, center, hands behind you. Press open the chest. Feel the back of the head press to an imaginary wall. Keep the chin level. Just stretch. Woo, and release it. Good. And then grab your strap. Yeah, grab your strap. Take the legs out and out in front of you just to stretch them out, and take your strap and make it into a small loop. If you were with me on Sunday, right, we want this strap to be about hips width apart, and we're looking at the hip bones, not the outside flesh, and we want the strap to be tight enough that we've got some pretty good purchase on that strap. And I'll turn sideways so you can see what we're talking about. So the spine is nice and long. The hands can come behind. I want you to simply press out into the strap to work with the outer hip muscles. Woo, and already start to breathe. Already start to feel this, maybe depending on what you've been doing, if you've been really active, or conversely, if you have not been really active. Both of those things can start to make these abductors, these outer hip muscles, start to really fire up. So still squeeze out, don't give up. Don't let the chest collapse. Breathe and release it. Whew, shake it out a little bit. We're going to do two more right there. So press out, just feel this tension. Keep the chest lifted. Maybe you don't need the hands. Maybe you release the hands and do a little bit of core work at the same time. Why not, right? Maybe it'll take our minds off our legs, but I'm still squeezing out. And I am feeling this all the way around this outer hip line, right? As we work with these muscles, tensor fascia lata, the iliotibial band, ooh, the lower edge of the glutes. Keep squeezing, my friends. Breathe and release. One more right here. Press out. I think truly we could do this and the block squeeze or ball squeeze pretty much every day, not a lot, not getting crazy, but you could do this pretty regularly to help keep that inner and outer line balance of the hips healthier, which is going to take that load off of the lower back. Whoo, I am feeling this. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Ah, good. Take that block or take that strap off. Set it aside for a moment. Grab your block. Place it between your legs. So you may feel more comfortable with it narrow. I tend to like that second width. The third width would be too wide, pretty much for everybody. And again, right, I've got my heels digging into the floor. Lift up through your torso. Feel free to take the hands behind and give that block. Woo, good squeeze. That's it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Feel the inner line of those thighs working. Keep the chest lifted. If you want a little bit of core work here, you can lean back. Find your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and just release the press on that block. Don't let go of the block. And when you're ready, good, lift up again, squeeze the block. Whoo, yeah. You could do this, right? Count of 10, squeezing in for that count of 10, keeping everything else in alignment. Breathe. And then notice too which one you feel the most and which one feels the best. That'll give you some information. And release it. Good. Breathe. And last one, squeeze the block. Good. Just notice maybe the hands are released. Maybe you lean back a little bit to get a little grounded boat pose here. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, good. And release. Grab your strap again. Take that loop around your lower legs. So I want it to come right about mid shin. Mid shin. And find a purchase again. So we didn't do this last class, but I want you to feel how when you press against the strap at the lower level, What does that change for you, right? I'm still feeling it out here. I've just changed the fulcrum point, right? I've just changed where it is. Lift up, find your breath. Maybe the hands are behind you. Maybe they're just released. Maybe you lift your feet off the floor and find this variation of boat pose, right? So we're bringing the core in. There should be no back pain. If there is, either the hands come down or the heels of the feet come down. Lift your chest, tone your belly, press against your strap, and breathe, everybody. And release it. Whew. And maybe roll forward a little bit, let the legs support you. Find your breath. Good. You know we've got to do that one more than once. That's just way too fun. An option here, by the way, is heels dig in and pull back. Okay. So, alternate variation of boat pose, still working core, still finding like almost this pump up of the torso moving toward the knees moving toward the torso, finding your breath, drawing the shoulders nice and wide. Ooh, think happy thoughts and release. Maybe roll forward and just feel that. I'm not a big fan of rounding the back. You all know that. But maybe, right? Maybe you just do this little supported stretch, much like it would be a child's pose. All right, one more here. I love the number 3. It's my favorite number. Breathe, press up, squeeze in, lift up that chest. Maybe the arms come out, maybe they don't. Imagine a stronger core, imagine a stronger soul, right? A stronger heart, stronger body. You got this. Woo. And release it. And take that strap out and just stretch out your legs for a moment. So we think about this Dandasana pose, right? What did we just do? We just strengthened this whole outer complex core, chest up, hands down to your sides. And notice how much easier maybe Dandasana feels at the moment now that we've really fired all this up. Good, deep breath. Breathe. Maybe the arms come up. The head is neutral. Imagine the very back of the head pressing gently into a wall that's right behind you. Belly tones, the ribs get soft. Breathe. And release. Shake that out. We got one left here. So grab your block. You knew, right? So you're going to take that block between your calves. It's going to change things. I want you to flex your feet, dig your heels in, pull back on the heels isometrically. Feel your hamstrings start to engage. Lift up, tone the belly, find your breath. Maybe release the hands. If you do, broaden through the shoulders, broaden through that whole line, front and back of the shoulders. Maybe you lean back and find both. Again, squeeze, right? So, how does this feel different? We're squeezing in instead of pressing out. We're finding a whole different set of muscles that can engage through this whole line. Whew. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Keep lifting through your chest and release it. Oh, maybe drape over those legs a little bit. It's Wednesday morning, right? We got to work these cores. All right, we're going to do one more here with the block, just one. Lift up if you want, press into the heels and dig back if you want a different variation. And breathe. 5, 4. I don't think I did the 10, 9, 8, 7, or 6, but 5, 4, 3. Squeeze the block. 2, 1. And release and set that block aside. Just straighten your legs. Find Dandasana again, right? So now what do we feel? We feel the inner line working. We feel the outer line working. The shoulders are back, that side body. Close your eyes again and find that center line, right? Picture that bright light or the rod, whatever works for you to see the line that's going through the center of the crown of the head, through the palate, down through the core, the diaphragm, down through the perineum. And just breathe for a moment. Still fired up legs, by the way, and release it and let go. So we have one more boat because props give us information. When we let go of the props, can we integrate that information? So bend your knees, dig your heels into the floor, and just pull back. I want to feel the hamstrings engage. And then pretend you're squeezing a block and pretend you're pushing out on a strap all at the same time, right? A friend of mine who did Sunday's class said, I can't distinguish between the squeeze in and the press out. It's very, very subtle. So don't worry about it. Lift your chest. Maybe the arms come up. Broaden through the collarbones, right? Head is in alignment. Maybe lift one foot and pull back on the other heel. Maybe lift the other, find the still point. Lift your chest, tone the belly in. Imagine you're squeezing a block and pressing against the strap all at the same time. And release and let go. And breathe, everybody. Woo, good. And then just maybe take the legs wide and windshield wiper the legs a little bit because what are we working? We're working inner and outer thighs, we're working hip muscles, and we're working glute muscles. There you go. Another friend who was participating in the Sunday class said that the legs are the powerhouses of the body. If we've got strong legs, we are more mobile, we're more effective in our daily routines, right? So good. Come back to center. Grab one or both of your blocks and sit up on your block. So you would grab both if you want a little bit wider base, or one if you're comfortable just sitting up on one of them. So sit up on the lowest level. Remember, you can just slide the other block right next to you. Give yourself a little bit more um, uh, base, I guess. And then let your knees fall down toward the floor. I hope this is comfortable for you. Usually, if we raise the hips, the legs, and the knees are more cooperative. And if it isn't, again, take the legs out front. So I find this very interesting and very effective. All I want you to do, upper body relaxed in alignment, squeeze both glutes, squeeze both sets of glute muscles. There's three of them back here so that you feel like you could lift up off the block and breathe. Right. So not only are we working glutes, you might feel this above the hip bone. You might feel tensor fascia lata, these little dancer muscles out here. Keep squeezing, keep lifting, as if somebody was going to pull you up off those blocks, right? You're going up the elevator and then release down. Good. Squeeze in, squeeze up. Breathe. Try to keep everything else relaxed, including these overworked jaw muscles, right? Find that, find your breath. Tone the belly in. Chest is nice and wide. The back of the body is nice and wide. We're neither pulling back or rounding forward. We're finding that neutral line and release. Good. We have one more here. I want you to squeeze up. Maybe you feel the feet, if your legs are crossed, pressing down a little bit, just gently pressing down as if you could lift right off the blocks. Breathe. And then notice here, because we're going to do something in a second. Notice if you feel one side of your glutes more than the other side. And release, everybody. I want you to just straighten the legs, straighten them out. Watch the hyperextension here. You're up high. Lift up through your torso, fire up the legs, take the arms up. Find your breath. Right, Dandasana. Breathe and release it and let go. Good. Cross the legs again. This is how I always cross my legs. Let's see if we can change that a little bit. So if it is okay for your hips, legs, cross your legs the other way. And then listen up. You're going to take both hands, both of them into soft fists. We did this on Sunday. I want you to squeeze your left glute and your left hand. Don't over squeeze the fist. Don't make your knuckles unhappy, but just squeeze one side. And you should feel a lift on that one side. If you're not feeling it, imagine it, right? Your brain to body communication is going to figure this one out and release. Good. Go to the other side, right side, fist and glute. The left side's relaxed. Breathe. Oh, and let go. Good. Left side. Let go. Right side. Oh, let go. And left and right. Oh, and left. Good. And right. We got one more, both sides. Hang in there. Squeeze the left. Squeeze the right. Feeling some fatigue here. Squeeze both. Lift up, tone the belly. Shoulders are broad, right? Head is in alignment. We got this. Take the arms up. Keep squeezing. Exhale, let go. And straighten the legs. So for me, between doing a lot of hiking and doing this extra glute work, let me tell you, whew, I feel it. All right, just bend your left leg. Come into a figure four. Your left ankle should be above your right knee, and then slide your right leg up. We're going to get moving once we give these hips a little bit of a stretch. So pause here long enough to just notice, where are you feeling this sensation, right? I feel a good stretch, um, but I don't feel any pain. I feel an interesting area that I'm willing to explore, but it's not pain. And it is the muscle attachments around that hip bone, right? So it's kind of interesting. And I just hang out here for a moment. I just check it out. It's a curious mind, right? An inquiring mind. And I see if it'll lessen a little bit, if this stretch is effective. If it isn't, if it doesn't, change something. The easiest thing to do would be to lower the right leg a little bit so that you're not so deep. Good. And release the left leg. Just stretch it out. Take the right ankle above the left knee. Oh, yeah. Bring that in. So for me, the good news, I feel the exact same sensation on the right side. So that makes me less worried about something really funky going on the left. I just know I'm tight there. I've been doing a lot of extra walking, a lot of extra hill walking. So breathe. Again, inquire. Always feel free to close your eyes here and just pause. Just breathe. Just notice. What do you feel around you? What do you notice around you? If you're inside or you're outside, are you warm? Are you cool? Can you breathe? There it goes, right? And then you'll feel this like, oh, this release of what you are holding tight onto. All right. And release that left leg, release the right leg, bend both knees, and then carefully come on off those blocks. Set the blocks right up to the front of your mat. We're going to need them. And I'm just going to move my cup of tea out of the way. Good. Find a nice table pose and then drop down to your elbows. Interlace your hands softly. Press the forearms into the floor. Have your knees right underneath your hips and then tone the belly in as if you were going to do a cat pose. Let the head drop. Tone in through the belly and then slowly keep that tone of the belly, but start to lengthen the rest of the chest and torso so that you feel neutral. Press your right leg out. Just press out into the ball mound and then lift that leg. And feel this, right? So you start to feel as you tone the belly in, as you lengthen through the tailbone. The chest is not dropping to the floor. I'm kind of looking at my thumbs or at the place where my wrists are. I'm just checking out the glute. And then I want to lift the glute up or the leg up higher without dumping into my lower back. Just lift it up until you feel your back starting to curve. And then take it back to neutral. Good. Squeeze it up and lift. This is all moving from the gluteal muscles and down. Good. One more right here. Just lift, squeeze, notice, and lower back to neutral. Pause and lower all the way down. Press back through your left leg. Press down through your forearms. Go from this kind of rounded body to a neutral body. Lift the leg. Find that neutral again. Hips are level. Toes are pointing down toward the floor. Belly tones in. Shoulders are, comfortable, right? You shouldn't have a ton of tension there. And then same thing on this side. I just want you to lift small increments. When is the first time your pelvis tilts and you drop into your lower back? Back off of that spot for a little bit and then lower back to neutral. Good. Two more right here. Squeeze up, tone in, belly strong, and lower down. Good. One more right here. Squeeze up, tone the belly in. Don't dump into your low back, everybody. Breathe and lower down completely. Good. And then press into your hands. I want you to lift your fingers off your mat. So you're pressing into where the fingers meet the palms, that knuckle. I want you to see if you can find that. And then press into the fingers. You're still lifting, but then press down into the fingers and lift the heels of your hands off the mat. From those long fingers, kind of drag back isometrically so the fingers and that rack of knuckles stay down, and then press through the rest of your hands. Flip your toes under. Let's go to down dog. Stretch it out, everybody. Bend one knee and then the other. Let's get ourselves warmed up. Breathe. And then take your feet wide on your mat, nice and wide. So my pinky toes are right to the edge of my mat. Bend your knees, lift your sit bones, but then squeeze in the belly. Squeeze through the center of your arms as if you were holding onto a big beach ball, but broaden through the front and back chest. And find again a variation of downward facing dog. From here, start to bring your body forward. Lower the knees until they almost touch. Now squeeze an imaginary block between your legs. It's a big block. Squeeze between the arms, squeeze between the legs. Feel those thighs working and press back. Straighten the legs, down dog. Tone in through your belly. One more here. Tilt forward. Watch those wrists. You know who you are. Isometrically squeeze the block between the knees. Squeeze the beach ball between the arms. Broaden the shoulders. Good alignment, everybody. And lower your knees to the floor. Nice job. Bring those knees to neutral, so neutral alignment, and step forward with your right foot. Grab your blocks and take your hands onto your blocks. And stretch out the front of your left hip. Find your breath. Good. If your knees allow it, and please be mindful here, bend your back leg and just bring your heel as close to your glute as you can. Doesn't have to be super close. We're just stretching the front thighs. And then lower that down. Lift your knee off the floor. Tone your belly. Make sure your stance is wide enough so that you have good alignment here and good balance. Take your fingertips to your block. Press down those fingertips into your block. Tone your belly. Squeeze your left glute, this long legs glute. Find your breath. One, you're going to stay right here. Two, hands come to knee. 3, you lift up your chest. And notice here, right? So I was watching one of my friends in lunge, in a high lunge. And in order for her to take her chest up, she had to bend her back knee. And I find that really interesting where your hip flexors are, how tight they are, and where your torso will allow. So take your body forward a little bit. Feel your sacrum nice and level, right? Bend your knee a little bit if it's not already on the floor. Then take the torso up with the bent knee right here. Whole lot of work. And then see if you can straighten the leg. If you can't, don't worry about it. If you need to bring your torso forward a little bit, that's okay. Inhale, reach the arm up. Breathe. Your knee, by the way, right? Left knee can be down. Find your breath. Exhale, take your hands down to your blocks. Lower your right knee. And then simply switch. So bring your right leg back. Take your left leg forward. Pause right here. Make sure your base of support is wide enough, right? Both lines, both legs are in the line of your hips or wider. And just breathe here for a moment. Once again, which side's tighter, right? So tone in the belly, level out your pelvis. If it's okay for your knee, bend your right knee. Bring the heel close to the hamstring. Ooh, cramp, right? Close to the glute. Come on, hamstring. And squeeze it in. Breathe here. Stretching out the front leg. And then lower that leg. Optionally, lift your knee, find your pose, bring your fingertips to your blocks, and push the fingertips in to raise your chest away from the floor. Fire up your legs, everybody. Squeeze that back glute. 1, you're here. 2, the hands come to the knee. Bend your back knee as you lift your chest. Tricky, right? Because we're using more muscle. So we're lengthening up through that quad, all the way up through the torso, the arms raise up, and then see if the leg will straighten. If it doesn't, don't worry. Breathe. Squeeze through your belly. Find your breath. You got it. How's that starting to feel for you? Right? Release slowly all the way down, all the way down. Good. Lower your right knee to the floor. Move your blocks aside for now. And then step back to table pose. From table pose to downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Notice that the legs are stretching out a little bit. Good. Walk one hand back. Pause. Walk the other hand back. Pause. And back. And back until you are at your forward fold. Sit bones rise up. Knees are soft. Chest is wide. Bend your knees. Hands to knees. And come on up. Good. Grab one of your blocks. Take it between your legs. Whew. Good. Interesting, right? So on the floor, it felt better to go wide. Standing up, it feels better to go narrow. Good. Find your feet parallel to each other when you squeeze your blocks. Good. So how do you squeeze without like over squeezing, like squeezing so much that you start to feel compression, especially in the lower back? Maybe 40%, 30%, 50%. Find yours. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swan dive. Soft back of your knees. Find the center of your feet, everybody. And then give the block a good squeeze and start to lengthen up through your torso. Take your hands to the front of your shins. Push back on your shins to lengthen the torso more. You're now halfway up. Tone the belly, lift the chest, bend your knees a lot. Hands to knees, lift your chest. Arms come out. So here we are, right? Breathe, chair pose. And where is that chair pose for you? Can you find the strength here in the legs? So, right? that we don't sit in our lower backs. That's it. Breathe, everybody. And then take your arms to strong Popeye arms. Arrgh. Maybe bring your knuckles to your shoulders and then open them up. Maybe drop the arms down. Watch the low back, right? To open up your chest. Where are you today? Inhale, reach up, straighten the legs. Exhale, forward fold. Find your breath. Bend your knees, sit back, hands to knees, lift up. Chair number 2. Breathe. How is it? Too much? You come up higher. In fact, everybody come up higher and just feel that. What does that do for your body, right? It takes out that tendency for the lower back to really poke out or really poke in, I guess, right? Still working the legs. Some of you are going to go deeper because you're just feeling it today. Breathe. Good. Squeeze the block, stand up. Exhale all the way down. Release that block from your legs. Find the same energy, right? You don't squeeze so much that your knees come in, but you squeeze to activate that inner line. Feel the sit bones lift. Bend your knees, hands to knees. Last one here, chair pose. Breathe. Now, I want you to see if you can isometrically pull your feet apart. Yeah, right? So there's your strap work. Again, try to pull the feet apart as you're working on your chair pose, as you maybe squeeze your block a little bit, all this isometric imaginary work. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand up. Exhale. Roll your shoulders and just find a simple mountain pose, right? Feeling all of this stuff starting to really engage and get stronger. And then come right back to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. Step back to downward facing dog. All the way back. Remember what we said about the hands, the fingers, the rack of knuckles, right? All that pressing down so that you're not just sitting in the heels of your hands. Breathe. And then inhale to your tippy toes and come to plank. Breathe. Now, if your wrists are chatty, come on down to your elbows. Don't even wait. Breathe. Otherwise, tap the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This time, tap the knees and let them stay. Hold this strong half plank. Open up the shoulders. Find your alignment here. Breathe. Use your core. Bend the elbows just an inch, but don't let the elbows or don't let the shoulders head up to your ears. Just bend the elbows a little. Don't let them splay. Keep them tight. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the arms. Lift the knees. Find downward facing dog. That's it. Big deep breath, everybody. See if we got one more here. You can do this on elbows, by the way, all except for the last part. So plank, tap the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Drop the knees on 6. Hold. Here's your half plank. What is your half plank? It's not butt up. It's not hips down, right? It's somewhat neutral. Squeeze that belly in. Bend your elbows. Whoo! Finding this strength. So squeeze that belly in. Find your pose. This is so much harder than just dropping down to the floor, right? And push up and then just push back to child's pose. Breathe. Good. Come on up. How's that feeling, everybody? Shake it out, right? Always give those wrists a little bit of love and always work where the weight of those hands are on the floor. So come to table pose, grab one of your blocks, place it between your legs. I would go second with, but try what feels right for you. Press into the hands, lift those knees off the floor and breathe. Good. Don't let that butt poke up or the lower back sink in. Lift one foot, squeeze the block. Squeeze those inner thighs, release that foot, lift the other. That's it. Breathe. Go to down dog, widen as you need to. Find your pose, squeeze the block. Come to plank. Find your breath. Maybe bend the elbows just a little, right? You're thinking about it. Lengthen through your tailbone, squeeze your belly. Push back up, down dog. Oh, bend the knees, hover, let go, shake it out. Move that block out of the way and notice. And then down dog to that walking step back. Bend the knees, hands to knees. Come on up. And shake it out, everybody. Curl your wrist. I know. Shake it out. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, nice forward fold. Bend your knees, hands to knees. Lift all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Bend the knees. Inhale it up. Last one. Exhale. Bend your knees. I want you to feel this before you come back up. Bend the knees and come to the center weight of your feet. So you feel all four corners of the feet, right? Your toes are down to support. You're not leaning heavy inside or outside. Bend your knees and feel that. Now feel the lift of your sit bones, right? There's the hamstrings. Imagine squeezing a block. There's your inner thighs. Imagine pushing against the strap. There's your outer thighs. Squeeze your belly in. Hands to knees. I want you to tone the heck out of your lower belly until you're almost rounded. And then lift your chest. Inhale up. Exhale. Release and let go. Shake it out. Good job, everybody. All right. Back to the front of your mat. Inhale. Whoop it up. Exhale down. Think of everything we just did. Step back, right leg. Your right hand is on the floor or it's on your block. Fire up your legs. Take the left arm up. Just a simple little twist here. High lunge or low lunge. Either one is okay. Breathe. Good. Circle that arm. Grab your other block to the outside of your left ankle. Drop your back foot and come into extended side angle. Right? So it's like a closed twist and an open twist. What's happening to your legs? Let's transition one more time. Hand goes to your block on the right. Your back foot swivels back to neutral. The left arm goes up. Fire up your legs, everybody. What does that mean, right? I am engaging the legs. I'm squeezing them toward each other and I'm making them work. Lower your left hand to your block, which can be up nice and high, by the way. Drop your back foot to the side position and take the right arm up. Can you find that? And release it. Both hands to your blocks, both blocks low. Simply step back, down dog, and switch sides, right foot forward. You're in a high lunge or a low lunge. Okay. Your left hand stays on your block. Your right arm goes up. When you brought that right arm up, did your whole body kind of twist or did your back foot stay neutral? Right? Hopefully neutral. Good. Lower your right hand. Drop your back foot, keep your alignment, and take the left arm up. So we start to see how these poses transition. Good. Lower your left hand, straighten out your back foot, open up to your closed twist. Breathe. Lower your right hand, drop your back foot, left arm up. You got this. Hang in. Breathe. Lower both hands. Drop your blocks so they're level with each other. Step back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees. Lower them to the floor. And pause. Either child's pose or maybe just sit back. Find your breath. And then move your blocks off to the side for now. We're going to come back to them. Come down to your bellies. Breathe. And lower your whole torso down. And press into your hip bones, right? So those hip bones, it's really the front hip bones where the pelvis rounds up into the hip. And you know where they are, right? They're very prominent in the front of your hips. You can feel them if you put your hands under there. But just relax your upper body for now. Press into both hip bones, maybe press into your pubic bone. Lift your right leg. And I want you to think about this as you lift your right leg, keeping your hip bone on the floor and your right leg as straight as you can, because some people will just bend, right? And that's not what we're looking for. Bend the knee. I want you to have a straight leg, press your belly, press your pubic bone, hip bone down to the floor, squeeze the belly in, and let go. Other side. Press your left hip into the floor. Lift your left leg straight as you can make it for you. Shouldn't hurt. Find your breath. And lower down. Come up to your elbows. Watch the low backs here. Tone the belly in. Actually, push your belly away from the floor. Same thing, right? Lengthens your tailbone. If you can, one, you're going to stay here. Or two, you're just going to see if one leg will lift a little bit, no pain in the low back. And lower. And lift the other leg. And lower. And lower your whole torso down. Good. Take your hands down along your sides. I'm going to keep my head somewhat lifted, just so I'm not mumbling into my mat. Pull the front shoulders away from the floor. Keep your feet, legs on the floor and lift up. Maybe your palms are face up. Pull the shoulder blades together and feel your back bend, right? And then imagine somebody has your middle fingers and just pulling them ever so slightly toward your legs. Breathe. Some of you can then lift both legs, right? Variation of locust pose. Breathe. No pain, no pain. If there's pain, lower. Breathe. Lower the legs first. Lower the arms second. Pause. Maybe bend the knees and windshield wiper. That's it. And then lower the legs. Grab one of your blocks. You're going to take the block behind you, and then both hands go on either side of your block. So draw the shoulders away from the floor. Start to press into your pubic bone, press into your legs to lift your torso up, head, neck, shoulders. Don't overreach your chin, by the way. And then press the block out as you lift your legs. Breathe. Again, finding this back body strengthener, because really, you can't just strengthen your glutes. You got to strengthen the whole back line of your body. And then let go of the block with one hand and lower down. Bend your knees, windshield wiper. That's it. And then press up just enough to grab a block to place under your pubic bone. We did this on Sunday. This is an awesome way to go into some higher back bends, right? We're simply raising the hips away from the floor a little bit. So I want you to just start in Sphinx pose. And from Sphinx pose, the legs are long. The belly tones in, right? Really press that belly away from the floor and just drop your head. Just let the crown of the head head toward the floor. Stretch the back of the neck. And then tone the belly in, lengthen your tailbone, start to move the chest away from the floor, right? So you're pressing like plank pose away from the floor as you broaden through the shoulders and lift the head. So Sphinx pose, no big deal. Maybe you flip the toes under and fire up the legs and lengthen the tailbone more. So I'm pressing back through my heels, lifting my knees. Hands are pressing. Lift the elbows off the floor, variation of cobra. Draw the eyes of those elbows toward each other. Press down, lengthen out, tone in, all that stuff. That's it. And lower the elbows, lower the knees, lower the torso. Just breathe. This is another place where you could do 2 blocks side by side. I didn't think about that till just now. So one more, we're going to go back where we were, or we're going to take the hands wide on either side of the shoulders. So I'm leaning on my forehead so that my head is down. I'm going to squeeze my belly in and move my shoulders away from the floor. From here, energize the legs and lift up. Nice and wide. Hands are wide, right? They don't have to be right under the shoulders to find your back bend. Breathe. Knees down, more cobra. Knees up, or tops of the feet down, and knees up, more upward facing dog. Good. Bend the elbows 1 inch. Here's where it gets hard. Now we're getting these triceps in there. Squeeze the elbows towards side body. Bend. Squeeze the belly. Bend. Bend all the way down. And roll off your block. And just lay on your belly. Hang in there with me. If all we do is front body core work, we create yet another imbalance with the back body being weaker and the front body being tighter. And we wonder why we curl ourselves up into a ball. All right, hang in there. Whew. Good. Hands under shoulders, everybody. Elbows in, head down. Press into your hands. Remember the rack of knuckles, right? Less in the base of the hands. Press the elbows up. Lift, lift, lift. Head's the last thing. Cobra pose. Breathe. Slowly lower down. Take the hands out wide. Press up. Lift up and down. Last one here. Fingertips. Shoulders back and down. And lift up. Fingertips. Woo. And down. And release it. Roll onto one side. And come onto your back. Resist the urge to bring your knees to your chest for now. I just want you to pause and let your back neutralize, right? Little space behind your low back. Your feet are on the floor. Your shoulders are broad to the side body. And breathe. Hmm. Length through all four sides of your neck so the chin isn't raised up, nor is it tucked. Good. We got one here, and then we're going to stretch. We're going to stretch it out a little bit. All right. So plant your feet, upper arms to your side body, fingertips toward the ceiling. Don't over scream your fingers, right? Just let them be straight, but not hyperextended. Press into your feet, but before you lift, lengthen your tailbone. And then lift your hips up. Doesn't have to be a super high bridge. Just breathe. Press back through the shoulders and the upper arms. Good. Remember what we did sitting on the block? We're going to do that in bridge pose. I want you to squeeze your left hip and your left fist, your left hand. Breathe and let go. Right side, squeeze just that side, best you can. And let go. Good. Left, squeeze. This was described to me once. I learned this from another teacher of milking, like milking a cow. So squeeze your left, release, squeeze right, release, left, release, right, release, left. Come on. And right. Two more. Left, right, left, woo, and right, and both. Squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Oh. Pause. Don't bring your knees to your chest. Let your back settle. We've been doing tons of back body work. We don't want to immediately go into a rounded back. And then just bring your right knee to your chest. Straighten that leg up. Point and flex your foot. That's it. And then lower that leg straight and bring the foot back to the floor. Bring your left knee to your chest, straighten the leg up, point and flex. Point, flex. Breathe. And lower and bend your knee. Grab your strap. So I am hoping, I played with this yesterday and I fell in love with it. So I'm hoping this will work for everybody. I want you to take your strap and make it as big a loop as you can with enough of a tail to hang on to. Good. So you got it in a huge loop, right? Nice big loop. And then take that one end, not the buckle end, but take one end of the loop around your left foot. And take the other end of your loop, watch where the buckle is, around your left shoulder. So it goes around so that it sits, the back end of the strap sits underneath you. And you can like hold that strap down with your left shoulder. So it's left foot, left shoulder. If your strap is not long enough to do that, then keep the loop around your foot and just hold the other end of your strap toward your left shoulder. Okay, but hopefully everybody's got a long enough loop and they're not so tall. So from here, straighten your right leg. I'm going to move away from the wall a little bit and take your left leg over to the right. Your strap should be tight enough that when you get to just a certain point, maybe almost halfway down, but no further, your strap has tension to it. Your left shoulder's holding it down, your right leg is pressing, and we are stretching this whole outer hip on the right side. If your strap is too loose, you're not going to feel this. I don't want you to go far off of this left hip. Just breathe. Your upper body is soft. You're pressing softly with the left shoulder down. This should feel lovely. Your upper body can relax while you stretch your outer left hip. And just breathe here for a moment. Just feel this. Do you remember at the beginning of class, we were seated and doing the seated figure four? And I asked you to pause for a moment and just gather in the sensation of what you were feeling. Here is that opportunity again to pause and just inquire. This is a sensational stretch for everybody that I know. Everybody who does this stretch feels sensation in their outer right hip or their outer left hip. So that's okay. Sensation is good. Just inquire about how it feels within that sensation. It's part of yin training, right? Yin yoga to inquire and feel that. All right, so squeeze your belly, take the leg up, listen up. You're going to leave it on your foot, but you're going to take it out of your left shoulder and put it around your right shoulder and arm. You may have to adjust. For me, this side can go longer and I still get it. So now it's around your left foot, around the back side of your right shoulder. You can even go to cactus arm and then take the leg out to the left. Your right hip stays down, your right shoulder stays down. You may not go as wide as you would normally go for you. But again, your upper body is relaxed. You're not holding, gripping onto a strap. Feel the legs. Your right leg is long and grounded. If this is too much, you can bend your right knee and put the foot on the floor. Just breathe. Watch the strap isn't coming around your neck, right? Keep it toward chest. If it feels funky, just use your hand to move it away from your neck. Can you breathe here, right? Can you find the stretch? We've been working inner and outer thighs all morning. Breathe. All right. Squeeze the belly, take the leg up. Hold the strap and switch feet to start. You're already, now your right foot, right shoulder. Again, I'll have to tighten up a little bit because this side, bringing the leg across, I have more room. Straighten your left leg, fire up the right side, and bring it across the left side of your body. Ooh, way more sensation on this side for me. I'm going to relax my right shoulder down to the floor. I have my arm in a little cactus pose. The jaw softens. The belly is just a soft little tone, right? Nothing major, just to keep us in line. Find your breath, everyone. Settle in to this stretch. Just settle into it. Can you let this be what it is? Can you tap into the sensation? That's it. And then squeeze your belly, take the leg up to neutral. Even if you have to bend the knee a little bit, again, I didn't say that on the other side, but switch the shoulder strap to the other leg. You may have to loosen your strap a little bit and then take your right leg out to the right. Your left leg is grounded, your left hip is grounded. You're just relaxing your upper body. Maybe there's a smile on your face as your jaw softens, as you just relax into this assisted stretch of your inner thigh. Breathe. When you stretch, it's almost like your body knows when you've been there long enough. And we can't always do that in class because everybody is different and time is of the essence. But sometimes you can just hang out here and let it be until your body says, yeah, that's enough. And then you come back, right? So from here, squeeze your belly, bring that leg back up, listen up. Hold the strap with both sides. Take both feet in. Take both legs wide. Upper body fully soft here. I'm just pressing feet against the strap enough to keep the legs up in the air. Breathe. And then reach up, grab your strap, pull it, pull it, pull it until your feet are back together. Bend your knees. Take the strap out. Set the strap aside and straighten both legs. And come into Shavasana. As you move into your Shavasana, really take the time to feel how this pose feels in your body. Make adjustments as you need to be warm, or to bend the knees, or to lay on your side, whatever it is for you. And then tap in to how you are truly feeling. Happy, content, bored, whatever it is, frustrated, whatever it is. And tap into that for you, because when we don't listen to the small, quiet voice within, we miss a lot of signals. We miss a lot of guidance. So take the time here to just tap in. How do you feel? And know that however you're feeling is perfectly wonderful and proper for this moment. Feel your soft breath moving in and out. See if you can soften just a little bit more before we end our day. And then knowing that you can stay in Shavasana for as long as you would like. Those of you who are ready, start to bend or wiggle your toes, your fingers, maybe stretch it out like a big yawn. Drawing your knees to your chest. Hold those knees in, give yourself a big hug. Rocking side to side until the knees fall to one side or the other. And then very slowly pressing all the way back up to your seated pose.